Bentrovati, rieccoci live from Capri, Hollywood Digital. Eccoci qui nuovamente con Fiorenza D'Antonio, una giornata ricchissima.
E non è finita.
E non è finita. Abbiamo poc'anzi finito di parlare con Michael Radford, no?
La
Fiorenza.
bellissima moglie. Vabbè.
Loro collegati dall'Inghilterra, da una casa all'interno di un bosco per vivere con più serenità, lontani dalla City, dalle insidie della City e quindi anche dalle insidie del Covid, vivono molto rinchiusi in questa situazione,
Però
no?
io li ho visti anche bene, comunque un momento di famiglia con i figlioletti, la moglie aveva preparato l'arrosto con le patate, insomma si stanno vivendo un po' di tempo in famiglia che è una cosa bella. Chiaramente lo sanno, non possono fare altrimenti, quindi si sono creati il loro piccolo paradiso, diciamo.
E certo, e adesso voliamo a Los Angeles insieme anche ad un amico, un collega italiano, Oscar Cosulich. Voliamo da un regista star eppure molto semplice nei modi, Dito Montiel. Hello Dito, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? How are you? Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
Merry
Ciao
Christmas.
Oscar, come va?
Ciao Pascal, allora Dito, va bene, va benissimo, siamo pronti, quando volete iniziamo questa chiacchierata
E
che abbiamo
certo.
organizzato.
Assolutamente. Dito, first of all, how do you like the piazzetta we have on our background? Mostrategli la
I
piazzetta.
love it. I love seeing the kids run around the Christmas tree.
Purtroppo we don't have it now because the situation is complicated as it is in Los Angeles, I presume. Dito?
It's crazy as always, but I'm happy to see the kids running around. It looks like a scene from Cinema Paradiso for me.
Cinema Paradiso. So how is the situation in Los Angeles? I mean, it's crazy, no? Lockdown, total lockdown.
I mean, it's the whole world is crazy right now. Hopefully it's almost over. Take the shot when it comes.
Exactly. So are you for the shot?
Oh yeah, man. Put a microchip in me. I don't care. Follow me around. Good for you.
I'm very happy because there are a lot of people who are very skeptical for this issue.
I mean, yeah, I understand, but whatever. It couldn't be much worse than what's happening. So hopefully, hopefully it helps.
So how is your feeling going around the city with such a loneliness that is spreading out through the lockdown?
It's crazy, right? I mean, it feels like a movie, like a bad movie. You keep waiting for it to end, because where I'm from in Queens, New York, they were hit first, Well, actually, no, in Italy, you guys felt a lot there too. And Queens, New York was similar. And I was there for a minute and it was just crazy to see the whole city with nobody around. It felt like Planet of the Apes, you're waiting for the apes to show up or something, but it's sad, but I'm optimistic for the new year,
Yes, and you know why I love you? Because you spread out optimism. You are like me. We could be brothers.
I believe so.
We are brothers,
That would be
more or less.
somewhere out there, yeah.
So, what are you working on? Before talking about critical thinking, what are you working now on?
Writing as always. That's my obsession is to write all the time, and we were working on a film with your buddy Terrence Howard, who loves you and loves Ischia Festival. We went there together a couple of years ago. Terrence Howard, sorry, and just writing right now and hoping that we get back to some kind of normal soon.
But about what? What's the subject?
Well, this was a story about it's kind of this guy, his wife was in a car crash and one of their twin daughters died, and it's true story. and it started to be. I went to go meet him up in Humboldt County, which is kind of like hard to. It's like where marijuana was first legalized. Not legalized, but they grew all the marijuana here. So it's a kind of a crazy world, and it slowly dipped into some pretty deep stuff was happening with the death of his daughter. So that's what I've been sort of writing at the moment. You know, crazy.
And speaking about critical thinking, you have
Yeah.
written for a first opera of an actor become director, because Leguizamo is the first movie he directs. So you are a director, you are an actor, you are a musician too. So it's different to write for an actor becoming director, or is a normal path for you?
You know, writing, I just write, you know, INT means interior, you know, and then I was lucky. I had met John Leguizamo a few times over the years, and I'm a big fan. I love him, you know, he's a really special guy. And he really reacted to this really great. And he was first going to just act in it. And we were hanging out, and I was like, maybe you should direct this, you know? And he's like, yeah, I think I could do it. And clearly he can. So but as far as the work goes, it's just you just write, and whatever happens happens. That's the way I go about it.
But you have given to him also some direction suggestion, or not?
Oh, he's been around enough good directors. He doesn't need me to mess things up. He's worked with some of the greatest of all time, you know. And I think he, as I've heard, you know, he was describing, you know, Spike Lee likes to do this with cameras, and you know, Brian De Palma likes to do this, and I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. So yeah.
Well, you have also a movie in Boulevard. You direct the late Robin Williams. So you have also a special actor to direct, because I have met Robin in the past. Is a sort of human tornado, so a human twister. So I was directing Robin, because the movie is different from his usual roles. So you can manage to control him, or what?
Oh, you try, but you know, if you met him, you know, he is that guy all the time. And I miss him so much. I love that guy. We would be out there at, you know, 2 a.m. filming, you know, and I remember one scene in particular, you know, he was with Bob Odenkirk, a great actor. And the first time they met, they're both great comedians, and they immediately started joking with each other. And the scene was really, you know, he was coming home from being out all night, cheating and being, you know, crazy. And I went up to Robin and I said, you know, Robin, you know, the character, he's coming home from being out all night, doing crazy stuff. And he goes, I've done the research, boss. Okay. So he knew the character well, and he's like, you're right. Okay. And then I felt like I was the no fun police with him. You know, I kept saying, no, it's not funny. It's a hard thing to say to such a great person and comedian. So I loved working with him so much.
And I don't know if Pascal want to ask something. I can continue. Okay, I continue.
Okay.
Can you tell something about your relationship with the Capri Film Festival? Because, well, you were in Venice, that is totally different film festival. With
Sure.
And so you've seen, well, two totally different experience. Venice is the film festival, a classical film festival. Capri is a sort of human relation thing, a great happiness thing. So can you tell about the difference?
Well, you know, my connection there is with Pascal. You know, I met him when I made my first movie, Guide to Recognizing Your Saints, and through Trudy Styler, who was the producer of it. And she said, you have to meet this guy. He's got the most incredible energy. I think you guys will get along. And I just love him. And I know I sound like I'm being a cornball because I'm on your show, but I really do. And I went to the festival in Ischia. I couldn't believe it. It felt to me like, you know, I'm from Queens, man. I never thought I would go anywhere. And I used to watch movies like Cinema Paradiso. And to me, to arrive in Ischia, I felt like I was that guy, you know, like, I couldn't believe it. It was so beautiful. The movie's playing. I know it's not Capri, but very close, right? Uh, and then I remember telling everybody I've ever worked with, the first thing when we make a movie, Channing Tatum, Terrence Howard, anybody, I said, listen, I'm gonna tell you where we have to go. This guy Pascal, you got to meet him. And I've dragged them all with me, and they fall in love all the time. And so I love the smaller festivals. Not that it's a small festival, but more intimate. It feels sometimes like you don't get lost in it, and you get to hang around and eat and talk to people, which is the sad thing about this year. We're dealing with the pandemic, so we don't get to take a walk together and have a drink and eat some food. But hopefully next year we'll be back.
Dito,
And can you give
tell me more about this movie, Critical Thinking, that you wrote for John Leguizamo. It's an actor I really like a lot. I've been seeing him so many times. He's like a young legend. I mean, he's really has done a body of work unbelievable, and he has done most of his fabulous job with another Capri friend, the Australian director Baz Luhrmann. I remember
Yeah.
Dito in. I remember John Leguizamo in Romeo and Juliet, and then I remember also in the Moulin Rouge. So we're talking about somebody who really gets the appreciation by Baz Luhrmann, and now it seems that you like him a lot too because you wrote for him this movie.
Yeah, and to me, anybody in Carlito's way, I love forever. So I could, when I met him, I'm like, Benny Blanco, you killed Carlito. How could you do that to me? But but yeah, I'm a huge fan of his, and this was a movie. You talk about small things that it's almost incredible that they happen. A producer called me from Florida. This woman who never made a movie before said, I want to do a movie about these kids that are from a neighborhood like the one you grew up in that don't get a chance much in life. And they were these incredible chess players. And I was thinking, who is this person? I think she wrote me on Facebook. I can't remember how we met, but I'm the only crazy person that I look at everything. Okay, and I went there and I got to meet her and all the people who it was the true story of these guys in the 90s from a pretty rough neighborhood. They didn't have much, and they ended up, and so I love these guys. Now they were all like 28 years old. They weren't kids anymore. But they walked me around the neighborhood, and I went to all these parks where they just play chess all day and all night. And I don't know anything about chess. I had to Google everything about chess. I'm terrible. I play checkers, man. You know. So, but I love their story and the world they came from. It felt familiar to me, and the idea that some kids from a place that didn't have much made something out of themselves resonated with me. So I just started writing it, and I never thought the movie in a million years would get made. And then I met John, and I said, I don't know if this producer is ever going to make a movie. She's a little bit crazy, but she believes in this, and good luck. And he said, okay. And then it started to happen. And sometimes it's the magic of movies, So it's been a really crazy trip. I'm really proud that they actually got to the point where they even made a movie. It's so difficult, and finished it, and it came out good. That's a pretty tough stuff to do these days,
Dito, it
And
seems that the word crazy is a very important part of your daily vocabulary. We don't like
Yeah.
if it's not crazy, eh?
I would like it to not be, but it tends to follow me around. I can't get away from it. Yeah.
Yeah, to be crazy, it's the difference in this stereotype word.
Yeah. I mean, it's all a dream, right? So you just try and push things forward. Like I said, so many people are dealing with hard times these days that it's hard to pat yourself on the back about a movie, but it's nice that some people fight for everything, So
Oscar.
and and speaking about critical thinking, have you seen and have you considered something from the series Queen's Gambit? Because about chess is the most popular thing about chess now on streaming is Queen's Gambit. So you have
Yeah.
it was an influence or not?
My wife loves it, and I haven't seen it, so I don't know. So it's. I heard it's incredible, but I'm too busy taking a walk looking for stuff. But I haven't seen it yet. But I heard it's great, and my wife loves it. She can't wait for the next season. So I haven't seen it.
Mm. It's
And
okay.
I would like to know do you tell in the masterclass you keep on Capri in virtual digital with through the trailer in the next days? Are you already decided what to talk about or not?
But no, I did
Whatever
not. I
you
did
want.
not even mention him yet. Don't discover my cards, Oscar.
Yeah, because
Dito say what?
Right. If Pascal and Trudy tell me to be somewhere, I'll be there. So yeah.
You see, this is the answer. No, but Dito, tell me something. Tell us more about you. You mentioned that you be raised in the Bronx from Puerto Rican parents, no? So from the Queen. So
Queens.
Queen, sorry, Queen. Tell me, how was your childhood? How did you develop your love, your passion for cinema? How did it come out, the idea to become a cinematic master?
I don't know about the master part, but
You are a
you know,
master.
I grew up watching TV. You know, I'm not a. It's funny, you know, because I remember. Oh, it's such a crazy story, but you know, I just wrote because I like to write on napkins, like most people, or dumb little ideas at nighttime. And one day, somebody, my friend, we were not, we had nowhere to live at the time, and he gave me a book, a plain book, and said, "Start. You could write in here, so you stop throwing your stuff away." and uh and then I just started writing, and so, I just like to write, and then it tumbled into this crazy business. But my love of cinema was more. I just liked TV as a kid. Uh, I was not a big movie person, uh, but over the years, I remember, you know, I keep going, and not because I'm talking to you, but I go back to Cinema Paradiso. When it came out, I had a girlfriend that dragged me to go see it, and I was like, oh, I have to read subtitles. This is going to be terrible. And I remember I saw Ennio Morricone's name, and I loved his music so much because he did Once Upon a Time in America and all these great movies. And I said, well, at least his music, if I go to sleep, I love his music. And I loved the movie so much. And that was maybe the first for me, like independent film. I thought that's why when I saw your square in the background, I got excited. I wanted to see a little boy running around looking for his. My love of cinema is a strange one. I grew into it. You know, it was not as a kid. You know.
Dito, which is the role that you enjoy more? Because you write, you act, you direct, you sing. So, what's your favorite now?
Oh, I don't know.
Everything.
Whatever happens, I go wherever it goes. You know, somebody calls, they show up. You know?
No, let's see another angle. You discovered a great actor that became a movie star, such as Channing Tatum, and I mean, you've been working with a legend such as Robin Williams, and you happen to work with so many great talents. So I wonder, really, how do you discover a new talent? How do you manage to be with a legend? How do you approach the job?
Well, I'm a fan first, you know. To me, like I said, John Leguizamo, to me, until I get to know him, he was the guy that killed Carlito, you know. So, um, but Channing, you know, like the credit goes to Trudy, because Trudy Styler, we made that movie together, and I found these kids in the street that never acted before, and I loved them. And she said, no, this kid Channing. And I said, oh, he's a male model from Alabama. No way. And she said, oh, you're going to put him in this movie and he's going to be great. And then I met him and I kind of loved him, you know. Uh, more credit goes to her than me finding him. But I loved working with him, obviously, and we worked together a few times. And as far as meeting, these legends to me. I'm excited like anybody, you know. If when I was a kid, they filmed Goodfellas on my block, and I remember we were all trying to steal the food because I couldn't believe they gave the actors and all these people free food. So we would steal all the food, and later on, I got to meet some people that worked on that movie, and I was like telling them, you know, oh man, they filmed it on my block. It's just exciting to me. So I mean, yeah, and I like to work with them because I don't know, like Robin Williams was weird because I remember talking to him once. Well, not to him, but about him once, and I was saying it's strange a guy like him. Every generation grew up with a different Robin Williams, and each one loved him. You know, it's Good Will Hunting, Mork. There's a different guy for every generation, and so it's all just exciting to me. You know, and I've worked with so many great actors that are not household names too, and I don't know how it works. You know, it's such a strange business.
Happens.
No, yeah.
And you have also a musical group. You had, I don't know if you have still a band in which you play. So, you know, I have a wall of sound behind me, so I'm interested.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I was a kid, I screamed, you know, like hardcore punk rock. That's what I loved, you know, craziness. And, you know, I always love music. And to me, it's such a big part of film. I mean, it's so connected. It's you know, some of my favorite music is our composers, Ennio Morricone, one of them, which, you know, my dream was to see him one day. And it's so sad that he passed and every time that I would go, I used to watch the videos on YouTube of him performing outside of Venice, that you know where the festival is,
Yeah.
and I used to dream one day I'm going to make because I know he said he's never coming back to America again. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to go there and see him. But sadly, he's gone. Yeah.
L'ha fatta.
Vito, tell me something. You now have a special idea. It seems that the world is going toward more TV series than cinema. Because, I mean, the classic cinema, considering the pandemic, is suffering. Many theaters shut down. In America, I heard that most of the theaters are shut down. So, would you ever consider to produce and to act and to direct a TV series instead of focusing on cinema as it is our common big love?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, it's TV has always been a sort of probably my love, you know. I mean, going to the movies is always a special occasion, you know. Um, but I guess the truth is, it's just the way it's going. You know, it's sad, but you know, there'll always be a place for independent films and probably gigantic movies too. People want to go to a theater, but yeah, I would love to work with. You know, to me, it's all the same. You try to make the best movie or TV, whatever somebody wants to call it. You know, um, hard to get my head around it. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's creating. That's all I care about. You know.
What's your feeling going around in Los Angeles and see so much poverty, so much homeless, so much disaster? I mean, we are
Yeah.
talking about the Hollywood dream, and now is the Hollywood nightmare.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, look, you know, it's funny, you know, because it's just a light getting shine on something that was always there. You know, people are seeing it more. You know, poverty has been part of the world forever. You know, and it's weird. Like I grew up very poor and in a pretty rough place. So I'm always attracted to those stories and you know, it's something you don't see enough in movies or TV. Maybe now, maybe it'll change, but I think it's important to see these people because they live and they're real, and to see it, it's sad, but it's not that different than it's ever been. I think you just or maybe they're just showing it more because it's timely. There's been homeless. It seems a little worse now than it's ever been, and I think with the pandemic, it's hit you know a lot of people very hard. So not to downplay how serious the issue is, but I just think this issue has always been serious. You know.
Oscar.
And if you have, I don't know, you said that you start with watching TV, and I'm curious to know now which are the directors that you consider master that you can refer to for your work like a director. There is some director you is a model for you now or not?
Oh my gosh. You know, I love so many movies, so it's hard to even begin. Uh, it's not my style, but I love Brian De Palma movies. That's why Carlito's Way always blew my. I think I talked to Al Pacino about that for 2 hours. And because I know he's so specific, he tells you put the cigarette down, turn, talk. That's not my style at all. I'm like, if you want to walk away, walk away. But I love those you know, of course, Martin Scorsese. I grew up in New York. How could you not love him? Or Woody Allen? You know, Spike Lee has been. Spike Lee to me is like a. It's like a Van Morrison record or Bob Dylan record. Even if I don't like the whole record, I like one song, so it was worth it. One scene. For that scene, I'm so glad I saw the movie. So I guess these are the typical players that you might expect, but nonetheless, they just inspire me, and I see every movie, even if I don't love the whole movie, I love a scene, and it was worth it. You know, it's like a song. You know.
Yeah, Pascal.
No, no, Oscar. If you want to go, I mean, actually, was supposed to be your time, and I sneak in because I wanted to see it immediately.
Okay. And on the other side, okay, you've spoken about director, but you are an actor too. So I have to ask the
No,
same question.
I'm not an actor. I'm not an actor. I have a heart attack. You put a camera on me, I freak out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you were in some
But
movies.
hey, if you want to hire me, I'll show up. You know.
Okay, like screenwriter, which is the greatest screenwriter to you?
Oh, you know, I'm a little bit prejudiced because when I went through a thing called the Sundance Labs, and Frank Pearson was one of my advisors, and I didn't know who he was, you know, because I don't know this business. I did not grow up thinking about being in this business, you know. And they said they gave me the list of the people that would work with me: Carlos Cuarón, who wrote Y Tu Mamá También, and Frank Pearson. And they didn't say what he wrote, and I didn't know who he was, and I didn't have a computer. And then later on, Walter Mosley also was a great writer. And then someone said, "Oh, you know who that guy is you're meeting? He wrote Dog Day Afternoon." And I said, "What? I got such a great movie, you know." And he wrote Cool Hand Luke and all these movies. So I'm prejudiced because I got to work with the great Frank Pearson, and he was really mean, and I liked him. Yeah. So yeah, I thought he was just a real master, like the real deal.
Yeah, a real master to you is that one. And in the music, because you're a musician.
No, he told me, I remember that he says, "You need to watch Dog Day Afternoon again." And he says, because the phone call that they have, I listened to the real phone call and I wrote every single word they said, even when they stuttered. And I thought that was so great. So he made a big difference for me.
You have seen all the takes.
I've seen everything that I can, yeah.
All the takes of the
Tito, we have here our friend Fiorenza, but there is also another Italian actress called Ambra Lombardo, just jumped into the conversation. They are very interested in knowing how do you cast actress.
Actors, you know, I'm crazy, as I may have said. And anyway, I like to put it out there. It's really funny, like to me, like I'm like, listen, put yourself on tape. I never know, you know. I mean, I'm terrible at casting, so I don't care if someone's famous or not. If you want to put yourself on video for a movie I'm working on, send it to me on Facebook. I'll look at it.
Wow.
However it works. I mean, you know, I'm so excited to find new people. You know, when I made Saints, it was so fun because I would be on the train and there was a girl, Julia Garro, and she was so young, and I saw her on the train and she was being really mean, you know. And I said, I love that kid. So I walked over to her and I said, listen, I know I sound like a weirdo, but here's my phone number. Give this to your mother. have her call me. I'm really making a movie with Robert Downey Jr." And she goes, "I don't need my mother to call you." It's like, okay, well then, you should have her call anyway because I feel very awkward. And she ended up being in the movie, and she's so great. I love her. So to me, I was a kid that never had a chance, so I get excited when I find people off the street too. So uh, when you hear about a movie I'm doing, find out the script, put yourself on tape, and I hope you blow me away.
Me la levo?
I suppose that when people hear this, you'll be submerged by videos.
Lo so.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Unfortunately, I don't have much better to do. Yeah.
Okay. But you have a title for the masterclass of the next days. I continue to ask this. It's
No,
not.
but again, I have to talk about him yet. I didn't talk him yet, Oscar. So you
he
should.
doesn't know.
No, he doesn't even know. I mean,
Okay.
you know,
Sorry.
we are work in progress. So Dito is my brother, and he will make it happen. But I didn't even tell him yet because it has been so crazy in these days to build up these production studios. Actually, as we cannot have the physical festival, we are working on digital everything. I want to tell you something. It's very interesting. Yesterday was the first day we screened the movies on mymovies.it, where all the screenings are. And for being the first day, we had almost 30,000 people watching movies. Can you believe it?
That's incredible.
Incredible. And so doesn't it scares you that in such a short time people can watch simultaneously a movie?
Incredible. Well,
And also
that's the good.
And interesting because there are movies that not all the movies you screen are an actual distribution in Italy until now. So you have made a big success.
Yeah, because when we collected the movie Dito, we went through a global platform, and I was so surprised. We had almost 1,600 requests for attending the festival. We I had to choose just over 100, and these 1,600 people applying for having their movie in Capri, Hollywood, comes from 90 countries. Can you believe the festival is popular in 90 countries, and because of the brand Capri and Hollywood.
Wow.
Because of 25 years of successes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's of course good reputation, but it's really scares me to know that from 90 countries people applies to be in our, and I'm so sorry with all the people we could not select. I was trying. I spoke to the CEO of my movies. I was trying to have everybody attending the competition. I wanted 1,600 because they all had. It's up to the people. Who are we that we select a job or somebody else? I mean, the people. Maybe in between, among these 1,600, there are the new Dito Montiel of the future. And maybe because we did not watch the movie in the proper way, we not accept him in our selection. And I feel very sorry because one day a guy could say, listen, these stupid people from Capri Hollywood did not select me. Now I win Venice Film Festival. It happens, no?
I was at a festival once and I had to watch 6 movies in a day. And late at night, I was falling asleep in this movie from China. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy put his whole life into this movie. and it's like 2 in the morning. I'm trying to watch it, and I felt so. Yeah, I can't imagine trying to 1200. Wow.
Where do we find today's good stories, Dito? Because with all these major offer of contents that comes from many type of devices, we are obsessed by news. Where do you think you find now the real issue to write about a movie?
Oh, it's I mean, it's funny, you hear people a lot of times talking about, oh, the 1970s were so great for the directors and film. And I always think, yeah, it was great for 10 directors, not a lot. So the good thing is today, so many people have the chance, if you want to write a movie, you can write one. And if you want to make a movie, you can make it pretty cheap, if not for free, with your friends as actors and put it on YouTube, and maybe people will see it. So I don't know. I'm always looking around and always open to emails. You never know. Sometimes, who knows where the next idea comes from, I'm sure, I can imagine how many crazy emails you get. I always have some guy who's like, yo, I know this guy who killed somebody. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go. So, but you never know where it's going to come from. I'm sure you deal with that more than I do.
Dito, what's for you the most important thing for a movie? The message, the story? What does it have to impress?
Well, for me, it feels like when somebody feels like they had to make something or they had to write something, I'm always so blown away by that. I know the feeling, my first movie, I had to write it. I didn't care if anybody ever read it, but I just write it, and so sometimes you get an email where someone says, I have 10 movies, and then I'm like, oh, I don't need 10 movies, but I like when I hear I have one, you have to read this. And then sometimes it's terrible, but sometimes I look for when something feels like important, and I don't know what that means. King Kong was probably important to whoever wrote King Kong, and sometimes it's very personal. But I like when I feel like somebody had to do something,
Yeah.
more than they
Oscar,
did it.
you have any other question?
No, I bothered enough, I think, poor Dito, but I asked to him
No,
15 minutes this morning, and now
no
he's...
problem. 2 for 1 here. It's perfect.
So thank you so much, Dito
Thank
Montiel.
you.
We are really looking forward to watch your movie, Critical Thinking. Thank you so much, and we will speak again shortly tomorrow, day after tomorrow, in order to organize for you and John Leguizamo to be back here live from Capri. Grazie anche a Oscar Cosulich.
Whatever you need.
Great cinematic lover, great writer, great journalist, great also film festival director. So thank you so much. Grazie a tutti ragazzi. Ci vediamo qui sempre on digital insieme a Fiorenza d'Antonio dalla nostra Virtual Square live from Capri. Arrivederci.
A domani. Grazie.
Ciao.